It's one scary event that jolted the ancient city of Ibadan out of its renowned serenity. The explosion of January 16 in the Aderiola Street in the Bodija area is one nightmare which is yet to fizzle out of the memory of many residents.
The situation is so catastrophic to the extent that my conclusion about this thing is the government should investigate this situation, because I feel for the gravity, look at the gravity of the whole explosion. So definitely something explosive is being produced around this area, codedly. So the government need to investigate very well. Just look at the casualties. These are no stealth. Or is it OBMS? What's it called? Baptist or Anglican? So there are so many casualties. Even we were at Akobo when this situation happened, about 7 or 9 kilometers away from this spot. So everywhere vibrated. We thought it was an earthquake, but eventually we just go away because there is another, what's it called, a barracks that is very close to this. So our concern was that situation happened in that barracks. When we got to our office, we discovered that even our, what's it called, the POPE, the gas, everything, the pressure destroy our office. Just look at it. So bomb is being produced secretly around this area. This is a residential area.
Well, I mean, this preliminary period, you know, we've seen the devastation here, and from what we've gathered so far, the likelihood is that you have illegal miners toying with explosives around this place. We've always said to people that when you see something, say something.
Around 7 o'clock, I was we're about to observe the Maghrib prayers. Then, as I was about doing that, I looked outside the window somehow. I sighted this fire, my neighbor's house. I was not like, our neighbor's house is on fire. Let's go and help put it off and come back to pray, So we came down with an extinguisher, trying to put out the fire. We discovered he couldn't handle it. And I told one of my boys to go back inside the house, get my phone so I could call the fire service. Then my other boy was standing opposite the house. Then at that point, I started walking back towards my own house so I could meet up with my boy. I asked to go and bring my phone. I had not taken up to 7 steps when the thing exploded. It was a loud bang, just threw me away like a stone. I thought it was all over. At some point I was like, am I dead? And that, something suddenly was telling me, no, you are not. You're still around. I started crawling. I couldn't see anything. And I tried to manage to safety. And before I knew where I was, because I didn't remember anything again, and my boy that was opposite the house, the thing threw him away, and he just found himself naked in the process. All his clothes were off his body, save the box.
The entire Aderiola Street was totally eclipsed by the devastating blast that emanated from mining explosives illegally deposited in an underground bunker. Reports say many residents knew that these dangerous substances were kept there, but did not inform the police.
Petition we found on ground here, so he cannot tell us he does not know. So maybe the investigative agencies, they will find out what actually happened concerning that. Then, when you have explosives in your possession, you're supposed to have magazine for it, not in residential areas. Magazine in your mining site, which is made of concrete, and should be far away from where your people are even working, in case there is any eventualities. And I think in this situation, what happened, there was fire incidents. And so that one served as detonation. It took some time before it got to that explosives. And the magnitude of that crater we had, that means it shows the quantity of what has been stored. And we discovered that it has been storing for the past 5 years. So that is why in your environment, you don't wait for the government. When you see something that is happening, say it. Say it out. We have our agencies there. Our governor he listens to people. When they complain to him, he will intervene.
Based on what people that are part of the event, when it occurs, what they say, you will know that there are a lot of explosives within the vicinity of that ground zero. And maybe something happened, wrong handling here and there, and the thing got detonated. And the resultant effect is what we are seeing now. I think that's all what we can say for now, until concrete evidence are pieces together and then worked upon to now come up with a main information that will tell us where we are.
About 10 days after, the entire perimeter of the incident had been totally cleared of debris, while a team of geophysical experts is carrying out a forensic investigation to determine the impact of the explosion on the Earth's surface.
We have just come to lend a hand to what has happened actually. And what we are trying to carry out is a geophysical investigation. We want to carry out seismic refraction investigation, and the purpose is actually to determine the integrity of the ground, to see how the property of the ground in terms of density and some other materials have changed right from the ground zero away from the point. This way, we'll be able to actually measure the effect of the blast that occurred and maybe make some statement as to remediations that are necessary to be carried out in order to make this place habitable for humans again.
Life for many residents here has not been the same since the January 16 incident, which swept across Adeyi and its environs, crippling economic activities and rendering many homeless.
We are staying upstairs, and the house next to our house, the 1-2, then that's the house where the explosives were stored. Then my daddy saw from upstairs that a fire started in that compound. Then it was a lot of fire with plenty smoke. Then he told me and my brothers, me and my brother, the two of us, we should go downstairs and get his fire extinguisher. So I got it from his car, then we're downstairs. Then someone said that this fire is beyond fire extinguisher because the fire was so much. Then he told my brother to go back into the house, which is upstairs, to get his phone so he can call the fire services because of the extent of the fire. Not knowing that there was no residents in the house again. Everyone had fled, but we just felt that we had to put off the fire because it could escalate and affect other people. We didn't know that there were anything like explosives or any dangerous thing in the house. So I stood in front of the house, opposite the house where the explosives were stored. My brother had gone upstairs to get the phone. My father was walking back a bit to meet up with my brother so he could get his phone from him while he was going. Our neighbors had already gone, shouting that people should come outside, that there's fire, 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 fire. Then I was right opposite the house. I was just trying to look and observe what was happening. Then before we knew anything, it just went boom. Then it just threw me. It took my clothes off my body. Then complete silence and darkness. We could not hear voices, we could not see, we could not hear anything. Then after some time, we started hearing voices slowly, people shouting. Then I started shouting for my own brother and my father too. I could not see them. It was after some time I could locate my brother. He was standing on top of the building that had collapsed. He was shouting, "Please help me, should I jump?" Me and my neighbor were able to locate him. We traced his voice. Then later we saw my father. My father was bleeding. His whole body was filled with dust.
Blast, I don't know what happened, but the metal door, my kitchen metal door, was mangled and brought outside the main entrance. My two girls were at the reception, and the thing took them away and dumped them across the building. I just pray the government can help us to find out what actually happened for future, so precautions can be made. I still don't get it. It's horrendous. It's disastrous. It's horrible. I don't know. So many lives were lost, and we still don't know what happened. So I will appeal to the federal government and Oyo State government to please try and find out what actually went wrong for the sake of future occurrences. It's unimaginable. The only thing that was saved in this building were 4 wall clocks. Only 4 wall clocks were saved. ACs dropped, television dropped, beds were turned upside down. I don't get it. I was frightened, and as I said, I'm still traumatized. I'm 71 years old. How am I going to start building at age 71 with the artisans we have in Nigeria? The stress. So obviously, I'm sorry, I don't even want to hear that you build something better. No, I'm not going to. I can't deal with it. To start building again at 71, to start running after artisans, no, I'm sorry, I can't. But I pray the government should please come and tell us, and please help us, compensate us. It wasn't our fault. It was not our fault. Please, government, come to our aid and compensate us, we beg you.
Please come to the aid of the residents there and see what we can do to ameliorate. Not minding, some people will say they are in Bodija, they are the affluent people, they are the well-to-do. No, this is so much, and it's most unexpected. And the government will also conduct a thorough investigation.
Our own government's capacity and also in private capacity. At the same time, I'm using this opportunity to appeal to the civil society, the NGOs. Let's all come together, band together to ensure that we can save as many lives and also, assess the damage that's done to the properties of the people of Oyo State. This situation is one that shouldn't have happened in the first place, and we will ensure that this situation never happens ever again in Oyo State.
The people that have been rendered homeless have been given some temporary accommodation, you understand? But what we need now is something that is a bit more permanent in terms of looking at the situation of those people I talked about and people that have lost properties. Yeah, I mean, look at houses. We've lost homes. This is the time we actually need ourselves to actually reduce this hardship and suffering on people. So I'm actually appealing to the federal government, the state government, and well-meaning individuals. This is when we need ourselves. That we should show love. We should try and provide a lot of things that will reduce this hardship on the people. I'm happy that the Oyo State government has set up an account for donations. Yeah? And I will do my personal best in my official capacity in terms of appealing and putting a lot of pressure on the federal government to do something tangible for the people involved.
However, some unscrupulous elements are scavenging the area, helping themselves to anything of value. The site of the blast has now been cordoned off, while integrity tests will be conducted on buildings to ascertain their structural durability. With many residents without a roof over their heads, it remains to be seen how soon governments and indeed well-meaning Nigerians will extend a helping hand to victims of the explosion.
It is the site of doom. That is where the explosives were housed. And if you look around, you will discover that all the buildings in this vicinity have been totally destroyed. The perpetrators of this heinous act still walk the streets as free men. It therefore behooves on government and indeed all stakeholders to ensure that these masterminds are brought to justice so that these residents can have a feel of life once again. Olutai of Moscow, Arise News, Ibadan.